All right. Shalom. I want to start off by saying, Call Aliyam La, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the head apostles of GMS, and a salute to you, Watkins, that are tuning in. I'm the servant the bar at the GMS Boston. And pretty much I'm coming back with a quick show. And this is going to be based on this article here in RT, which the article reads, NPR gets an earful after claiming Declaration of Independence is riddled with flaws and hypocrisies. And this cannot be more true, man. The Declaration of Independence is pretty much a fraudulent document. All right, it's pretty much a fraudulent document in which pretty much it states that so-called white people, the so-called white man is supreme. All right, and this is how they've held their supremacy for so long, okay, especially here in America, because that's what it was all about. It was about them being able to do whatever the hell they wanted to do, which, you know, the so-called white people that were here were nothing but criminals that stemmed off of Britain, okay? They were nothing but criminals that thought that they were being overly taxed, you know, that they were being pretty much ousted by society, by the British society, okay? And they came here, and when they came here, they ran amok, man. They pretty much put hell upon the so-called Native Americans, which the Native Americans are the tribe of Gad, all right, one of the 12 tribes of Israel. They're Israelites, okay? And pretty much brought warfare, okay, to the Native Americans, not just in the United States of America, but also Canada, the islands of the sea, you know, here, we had the island of Hispaniola, the island of Puerto Rico, the island of the Bahamas. All these islands were inhabited by people, all right. You know, and you know, of course, you know, which is the so-called white man, all right, which is the nation of Edom, brought war, okay, and the Declaration of Independence, you know, pretty much gives these devils rights, you know, and it's a code that they pretty much live like, you know, the pursuit of happiness for all and all this crap and nonsense. That's for them, okay, and for nobody else. Now, the scripture said, before I read this article, I'm gonna get the scripture here. Let me see. Nahum 3:5. It says, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame, right? So this is talking about Esau, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man. All right. Now, this devil has done a great job at deceiving everybody. Okay, he's done a great job at, you know, making everybody accept, you know, all the atrocities that he's done. Okay, you know, he pretty much said that he's civilized, or you know, if you want to go all the way back to the Grecians, which they claim was the beginning of civilization, which is far from the truth. Okay, these devils will say that they civilize a nation of people, and in all reality, when they say civilized, they're really talking about slaughtering. Okay, because that's exactly what they did to the Native Americans, and not just the Native Americans, but also the so-called Negroes. Okay, which is the tribe of Judah, primarily, that was being exported from the south parts of Africa, you know, in cargo slave ships, which is biblical prophecy. But you know, that's the history of the so-called white man, which is unrefutable. Okay, but he's done a very good job at, you know, shoving down the throats of the masses in the world the idea that he's a good guy, that the idea that he's a noble person, that he's a person that is about peace. You know, this is the man that says that he's going to bring peace and stability to a side of the world, you know, and he's doing it by bringing in more arms and bombing people. You know, I'm talking about the situation in the Middle East. You see, his idea of peace is war. Okay, so now people are getting hit. Now people are noticing that this man indeed is violent. That everything that he said have been a fraud. Okay, he's a fraud. All right, that he's a great deceiver. Okay, and this is the Nahum 3 and 5. Okay, because this, when you uncover somebody's skirt, you're pretty much showing their secret parts. Okay, when you uncover especially a woman, when you lift up a woman's skirt, you know you're gonna see her privy parts, which you know is shameful. All right, it's shameful. So these nations are seeing it, man. These nations are seeing it, and our nation, you know, some of our nation are seeing it as well, because there's got to be a race war, man. And the 2/3, primarily the 2/3 of you people, you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Latinos, all right, y'all people gonna wake up eventually, one way or the other, whether the hard way or the easy way, all right. And there's gonna be a race war here in America, presuming to the book of Second Esdras, which I'm gonna get into. But let me just read a little bit. Now it says NPR has stirred up debate about the flawed origins of the United States after the news outlet marked the July 4th holiday by tweeting out the Declaration of Independence with some provocative footnotes. It says it has become an annual tradition for the organization to mark Independence Day with a reading of the historic document, but this year's rendition came with a disclaimer. Okay, so look how it's changing, right? Before, they used to bring out this document on the 4th of July proudly, you know, pompous, you know, but now that this is being brought down, right? Now it has a disclaimer. Now, let me get this as well. Habakkuk 2 and 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory, right? So they're filled with shame, right? So because the glory that they have was acquired through blood. Okay, the glory that they have, these documents, the document, especially Declaration of Independence, was achieved through the slaughtering, the enslavement of a people, man. Okay, and that comes with shame, man. That glory is shameful. Okay, that history is shameful. The history of the so-called white man, all right, their legacy has been nothing but death, mayhem, rape, rob, murder, and stealing, man. Which they stole America, man. Okay, they stole the Americas, they stole Africa, they steal. This is what they do. So all the glory that they pondered, you know, for saying that they discovered America. You had this devil, Cristobal Colon, right? Who's known as Christopher Columbus. You know, they celebrate him proudly here. They have a whole day for him. Meanwhile, this devil was the worst of the worst, man. And this devil did not discover America because there were people already there, and he brought war to them. He brought war. Okay, but that glory that he's a great explorer, you know, who discovered this and that is filled with shame, you know, because he was a murderer and a thief. He was a rapist. Okay, that's history, man. Now this says here, after last summer's protests and our national reckoning on race, the words in the document land differently. It famously declares that all men are created equal, even though women, enslaved people, and indigenous Americans were not held as equal at the time. See, that's the truth. The truth is coming out. It says the outlet, which receives public funding, explained. You know, and now this wasn't being said 5 years ago, you know, 10 years ago. But we, the prophets, starting with the head apostles of GMS on down, have been saying this, and has been talking, because we talk about everything, right? We talk on a broad spectrum, because the wickedness of the so-called white man comes in a broad spectrum. You know, you can talk about the wickedness in the jabs. You could talk about the wickedness in the food. You can talk about the wickedness in the air, the wickedness in his unrighteous decrees. It's a broad spectrum of wickedness. That's why the scriptures say that his wickedness has mounted up to the heavens. Okay, it's mounted to the heavens because it's a lot. It's a broad spectrum. The body count through the roof. He's the harbinger of death, man. Okay. Now it says here, the outlet which received public funding explained, right? It says this was an NPR's only grievance with the 245-year-old declaration. A reference to Scotch and foreign mercenaries was later edited out of the text. See that? By the racist slur about Native Americans in a line denouncing internal strife provoked by merciless Indian savages. This is in the Constitution. Survived the revision. So currently that's in the Constitution, right? The document was also stripped of criticism of the slave trade in a bid to win support from Southern colonists, NPR reported. Now, it says black people still aren't free. Congressional Squad member Cori Bush says July 4th is about freedom for white people. That's right. And that's exactly what it's for. Okay? That's exactly what it's for. But the understanding of with this simple concept is getting in, man. Is getting in the world. That vibration is being pushed. You know, that vibration is being pushed. What it says here, a tweet. In this thread of the Declaration of Independence, you can see a document with flaws and deeply ingrained hypocrisies. It also laid the foundation for this country's collective aspirations, the hopes for what America could be. And this is the point. The point is that America, right, because this is the foundation, right? America was founded on murder, rape, rob, and pretty much on racist ideas, on supremacist ideas. Okay, that's how America was founded. Okay, now it says here the commentary didn't sit well with many on social media. Of course, you know, Esau, you know, these peon devils. So several people called for NPR to be defunded, while others said that they had stopped donating to the organization due to its racial tinge pointing right. But whenever Esau wants to bring something out about some type of injustice or that they feel, right, with their gun laws and gun protecting their gun rights, right, you know, it's okay. But whenever you know, the truth come out, you know, with going into that shameful spewing. Okay, going into that shameful spewing, and you have even these new modern day J. Joe Edomites, right? Like you know, the millennials, you know, that they feel bad. You know, they feel bad in a way. Some of them, you know, are ashamed. You know, and I personally witnessed that, and that's also prophecy, because the scriptures say that their children shall complain of an ungodly father. Okay, of ungodly forefathers. Okay, but at the end of the day, man, you know, the vibration, you know, is coming down. So all works is working, you know, because the walls of the spiritual walls of Jericho, all right, which is what we're bringing down, is the mindset of the people, man. That basically the lies, you know, the lies, which is the stronghold, you know, the veil that's been cast over the people is the lies, you know, lie after lie after lie. All right, and the so-called white man has done a very good job at lying. Okay, and this is part of it, saying, you know, the Declaration of Independence being viewed as a good thing, as a good document, as a, you know, the 4th of July. And you have a lot of our people, simple ass minded Negroes, all right, that go out and start celebrating this wicked holiday, man. Okay, you know, when in reality this is not nowhere near your holiday. We have our holidays, because if you're a so-called Negro, Native American, or Latino, you are a Hebrew Israelite, all right, and you have high holy days according to the Bible, because the Bible was meant for you. Okay, the Bible was only meant for the descendants of the nation of Israel. All right, so we have our own holy days. We don't need to be celebrating the Eve's holidays, this man's holidays, which is nothing more than a celebration of his achievement, and his achievement was pretty much destroying you. That was his achievement. That's his achievement. He gets a hard on in the murder and in the robbing of Jake, man. Okay, of you Israelites. All right. The scriptures say in Genesis, when Rebecca warned Jacob, said that brother, which is Esau, is looking forward to kill you, and pretty much in other words, he takes comfort, pretty much he takes comfort in getting revenge, because it all goes back to that birthright in Genesis the 25th chapter. All right, it goes back to that birthright. They saw their birthright, and one people will be stronger than the other, which we Israelites are stronger than these so-called white people. This is why they need their guns. This is why they need. But the Lord had given them the power for now, because, again, this movie got to be played out, and as well, and it's an important lesson the Lord is teaching us, man. But ultimately, circling back around, that there is gonna be a race war. Somebody's mad about this, right? You have somebody mad. You have somebody that's awake, and these devils, they hold dear that victory over Britain. They hold dear the Declaration of Independence. These proud Americans, right? The proud Americans, they hold dear. Okay, so for all this big talk to come out that the Declaration of Independence is a fraud. Now, real quick, before I close this. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right. So that race war is coming. That sedition is coming. And also the martial law is coming. And it's gonna start with the uproar of the people, because people are going to get tired and fed up with his lies, man. 2 Ezra 15:17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. And great tribulation is coming. Okay, great tribulation is coming. So, this is amazing. Of course, this is beautiful. We hope and pray for the destruction and the downfall of this place, all right, which is wicked as all hell. All right, was founded on wickedness, as we're reading here, we're seeing here, and it's being exposed. All right, and this is why I got to go. All right, so hopefully this was edifying. As is always, the point. With that, I'm going to say, Call halal yom la, how about